On tonight's program, Andrew talks about cars, Brandon hosts a stupid quiz, and we honor the end of an era in motorsports journalism. And also, you're listening to Namely90s. Welcome to the show. You can find us at Namely90s.com or on Instagram and Bluesky at Namely90s. You can also find us on YouTube every Monday at, sorry, I can't do something weird, at youtube.com/@Namely90s. And finally, if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/Namely90s and get signed up for one of our support levels. Sorry, that was very chaotic because my cat decided to have like a sneezing fit directly next to me in the middle of that intro.
As you do as a cat.
Which I'm hoping my earbuds have filtered out for the most part. But yeah, some of you eagle-eyed viewers / listeners may have heard that little intro and picked up on the fact that that is the Top Gear intro format,
Yes.
in which we will be doing a special tonight.
Yes. Welcome to Namely90s Out of the 90s special. We are...
Hello and welcome. That's what Clarkson always says.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was terrible. I'm sorry about that. It's been a long day. I've been working at the house all day, putting in baseboards and caulking and just generally being very busy. And culminating in this recording.
Yeah. It's been like 100 degrees here the last few days, and at my new place of work, we don't really have outside cover, so we've been starting at like 6 a.m. so that we would be done by the hottest point in the day. Yeah, so my brain's also dead. But I just imagined Andrew talks about cars, Brandon hosts a stupid quiz, and we honor the end of an era in motorsports journalism. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's always,
and we honor
those are always the funnest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then kick the Jessica theme song in there. Except for copyright strike.
Yeah.
That won't get stricken.
Nope.
That's for sure. Boy.
But as you may or may not know, the Grand Tour is coming to an end this week with One for the Road, the latest special on Amazon Prime, not a sponsor. And also, if you do want to sponsor us Amazon Prime, I wouldn't mind getting my free no ads back.
Asterisk, there was some clickbait article that said they are going to replace the hosts of the Grand Tour.
I'm just like the last clickbait article you sent me that was completely wrong.
Hammond was quoted. Whether that quote was real or not, I did not have time to research.
Does that make sense? Was that the same article you sent?
No, I feel like A, yes, it feels like clickbait. B, also not too far off from what they've done in the past. And C, it'll never work if they do it. If it's not clickbait, it never works. It never has worked. It'll never work. It's garbage. It's the worst idea.
Yeah. I mean, they sold it as the continuation of them. So I don't know how you could replace them.
Like Top Gear, we'll talk about the history. Top Gear, though an institution and popular-ish, didn't really become the powerhouse that it is until the iteration with Clarkson, Hammond, and May. So that's where it kind of found its stride. And it's like so many things where the right combination of people and the chemistry makes it blow up. And that's what happened with these guys, in my opinion.
Yeah. Chemistry is very important when you're hosting a show. And it helps being able to play off of each other. I found the quote, and it was Hammond speaking to Metro, which isn't that a UK rag? Just like
they should have brought in Ted Stryker.
It will be carrying on. The Grand Tour continues. We're stepping away as the host, but Prime will be continuing it. So can't wait to sit on my own chair and watch someone else do it. That's amazing. Yeah.
Interesting. It doesn't sound amazing.
No.
Frankly.
I mean, They are getting a wee bit past their prime, but
Yeah, but
they
it's just the
try
problem has
doing
always been like credibility,
mm-hmm.
but like they try to find credibility in
or Matt
people that,
LeBlanc.
yeah, it doesn't translate. I don't know what it is. It just does not translate.
Here's my pitch: Chris Evans, but like the actor from the Marvel movies, Chris Evans.
Not the Chris Evans that was on Top Gear.
Correct. Matt LeBlanc, because of course, and not Rutledge Woods. Who's the short Hammond one?
Oh no, he's
Tyler
horrible.
Florence.
Tanner Faust. He has
Tanner
no
Faust.
charisma. No, he can be the Stig, but he's got nothing. We don't have the Stig anymore. Sorry. He's just like apparently no. What was the Adam guy? He's kind of funny, Adam Ferreira. But I don't know if but this is okay, yes, it's done by the Amazon production house, but it's still sort of a British program. So I imagine British presenters, but I don't know.
I mean, they can make it Grand Tour America with Rutledge Woods,
Adam Ferreira.
Yeah.
People actually that show has developed a bit of a cult following. Like it's off the air now, but apparently it wasn't horrible. Like it wasn't the worst version, but it wasn't.
Yeah, the
great.
current version is the worst version.
Is there a current version?
I watched I think I watched both seasons of it.
Oof.
Which means I'm pretty sure you watched it then. If
I don't have Motor Trend or whatever crap network it's on.
No, that one was on.
It was on A&E for a while.
Oh, I thought it was History.
Or History.
Yeah.
No, they're doing new seasons of it, or like they redid it.
They recast it.
Ugh.
And yeah, they redid it. I think it is on Motor Trend or something like that. But that was a few years ago. Yeah. But if you don't know what Top Gear is, let's Andrew, this is more your land. If you want
to. Oh, would you like me to do the history of Top Gear briefly?
Sure.
Yeah. So Top Gear is a British motoring magazine program created by the BBC that aired on BBC Two from April 22nd, 1977 to December 17th, 2001. Focused on a broad range of motoring topics, specifically car reviews, road safety, consumer advice, always helpful. It was presented by these two people I've never heard of, Angela Rapon and Tom Coyne, and saw a range of different presenters, which was in a half-hour slot. Noel Edmonds, Jeremy Clarkson, a familiar name, Tiff Needell, who I believe went on to do Fifth Gear, William Woolard, and Quentin Wilson. It was popular during the late 80s and early 90s and launched a number of spin-offs, including its own magazine entitled Top Gear Magazine. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to cut you off. I have information about Top Gear America. So there's Top Gear USA, which we watched. Then from 2010, in 2017, they rebooted as Top Gear America on BBC America with William Fitchner, Tom Ford, and Antron Brown as hosts. Then they rebooted it again in 2019, right before the pandemic hit, with Dax Shepard, Rob Corddry, and Jethro Bovingdon.
Oh, yeah. These all sound terrible.
Yeah, well, I like Rob Corddry. And Dax Shepard is married.
Fitchner guy, he's just like a random character actor.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Next, we're going to cast Paul Giamatti. If you looked him up, you would know him immediately. Yeah.
Yep. Original Top Gear by 1999.
So anyway, by 1999, the viewing figures in Top Gear had declined after the departure of notable presenters, which led to its cancellation in 2001. A number of those presenters and production staff moved over to Channel 5 to produce Fifth Gear, but Clarkson remained with the BBC and with fellow presenter Andy Willman, convinced the BBC to revive the program. It was a new format in October of 2002.
The rest of this still covers Top Gear 1.0. as we've been calling it.
Yeah, I think this gets a bit in the weeds here.
True. Well, I mean, basically, the original. Do you want to talk about the original format?
Why don't you touch on that?
All right. So the original format was a 30-minute episode, more or less, and kind of a magazine auto review.
A yawn fest is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, motoring related subjects. It was for petrol heads, as they say across the pond, or gearheads, as I guess they used to say here. But
I feel like it was. I get the impression it was more like consumer based, like those really dull, like 80s car magazine shows you see like the old video clips of.
Like if
where it's just like some horrible Toyota Tercel, like driving through some back roads.
It's what I imagine like a millennial doing TikTok right now is. But yeah, in 1986, no, sorry, in 1986, Dennis Adams resigned as executive producer, which led to Tom Ross being hired as his replacement. In 88, let's see, they finally added some new blood, which included journalist Jeremy Clarkson and Formula One driver Tiff Needell. And Clarkson is going to be a through line in this story. So yes, he was on the original show from 88-ish to 1999, where he left right when James May joined the program.
That's too funny.
Also a journalist. And they had some additional formats that were added by the end of the series. But Clarkson pretty much brought the show to its peak, and after he left, ratings declined, and which is why they brought him back to revamp Top Gear. But a lot of the crew and staff went on to develop Fifth Gear on Channel 5, but the BBC wouldn't give the Top Gear title over to them because, well, they rebooted it in 2002.
Yes, with an interesting. It actually had a different third host instead of James May in the first season. I guess I can go into that. So current Top Gear modern Top Gear is a British motoring magazine and currently an active entertainment television program. It was revived, as Brandon just said, by Jeremy Clarkson, Andy Willman, and premiered in 2002. Focuses on reviewing motor vehicles, primarily cars, though in later seasons included motoring-based challenges, special races, timed laps of cars, and celebrity laps. And to me, like the thing that made this program what it was the visual effects and style, and also the music selection was always spot on.
Oh yeah, it's impressive what the BBC can get licensed when they have.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think it's like the U.S. I don't know, it's a U.S. versus U.K. thing. It's weird. Yeah, but obviously it also was a controversial show because of Jeremy Clarkson and some of the content. It aired on BBC Two until it was moved to BBC One for its 29th series in 2020. The very first series was presented in 2002 by Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and Jason Daw with an anonymous test driver, the Stig. The Stig was played by a number of racing drivers over the course of the series, and Willman served as the show's executive producer. Sorry?
I think it started as Perry McCarthy was the first Stig. No.
Oh, whoever that is. In the second series, Daw was replaced by James May, and that lineup remained unchanged until the end of the 22nd series, when Clarkson was no longer renewed because he allegedly punched someone in the face.
Allegedly? I thought he did. I thought he punched the producer in the face.
Always allegedly. Hammond, May, and Willman left the program as well and joined Clarkson in forming a new motoring series, The Grand Tour.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I don't actually know what the Grand Tour's theme song sounds like.
I don't know. Let's see. It was Top Gear was one of BBC's most commercially successful shows since its relaunch. It's become a significant show in British pop culture, and episodes are broadcast all over the world, including Europe, North America, Southeast Asia, and more, making it the most widely broadcast factual television program in the world.
Interesting.
Yeah, I knew it was kind of a powerhouse. It's crazy. Yeah, you take over the baton.
Well, I mean, remember one of my first games where I made you guess international McDonald's?
Oh God, no. That's the year that this started airing in which country?
No, I wanted to see if you can name all of the foreign versions of Top Gear before we get into it, or take a stab.
At which part? Sorry.
What foreign versions of Top Gear there are? Which countries have their own Top Gears?
You want me to just name them?
Yeah, if you can.
Top Gear Australia.
That's one.
Top Gear America.
US. Yep.
There's one in Germany. I don't know if it's called Top Gear, but it's something similar. I think there's one in Romania.
Let me find a more comprehensive list.
I think they did one in China as well.
I see.
Oh, I'm reading. South Korea, China, and France.
Yep. On the list, I see Australia, Russia, U.S., Korea, Italia, France, Finland, Italy, Hong Kong, which different, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. But I do recall the German ones, right?
Yeah, maybe it wasn't under the Top Gear brand. That must be what it is. Because like many countries have a motoring series, but it may not be Top Gear specific.
Makes sense. Ooh, what's the controversies? Yeah, so I thought this would just be a good time to reminisce about Top Gear. Because, I mean, I feel like I tell this story a lot, but Andrew actually introduced me to this show when we were in high school.
And you know what's funny? Jacob actually introduced me to this show.
Oh, that's funny.
The way he introduced it to me is he was watching clips on YouTube, and he watched the Man with a Van challenge.
Nice.
He had me to watch that one. And the Caravan Holiday. Oh my gosh. Still to this date, one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I just remember the first time watching that, I was dying. I was like, what is this? I have to watch the show. And that was season, I believe, 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did like 2 series a year at that point.
Yeah, and the thing that Top Gear did is like seasons 1 through 7, they kind of revamped it a little bit more in season 8 or 9, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like they kind of changed the set and just updated it a little bit. And yeah, it was just great. I remember Jacob showing me that stuff, and I just I have to watch more of this program. This thing's hilarious.
Series 9 was the US special where they went from Miami to New Orleans, which aired in February of 2007.
Yeah. Right there at the end of high school.
Yep.
For me. And you.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I continue to watch it forever. I still do a rewatch occasionally. The trouble is, I no longer. Well, I guess you gave me allegedly hypothetically versions of it.
Yeah.
But the problem is the streamed versions have the wrong music, and it makes a difference. I know people are like, don't worry about it. No, it makes a difference. I'm sorry. It just does.
And that's why today's sponsor is NordVPN. NordVPN allowing you to watch the original version of Top Gear the way it's meant to be with BBC iPlayer. Use code nordvpn.com/namely90s with a 90s to get 0% off your purchase today.
Yeah. Use promo code Storm the Capital.
Lego Capital.
Do I storm it?
And I think I want to say the first clip you guys showed me was the episode where they turned a Fiat Panda into a limousine.
Yes, the limo episode. That's another one. To me, that eighth series is just iconic. It's like all of the original challenges that I just found. Oh, and then he showed me the American trip, which was 9. So must have been kind of a 07, 08 where I actually started watching it, but I don't remember exactly when I started actually like watching every episode. It was always my dream after watching that show to like have like 3 of us go on a trip and just buy like crappy cars and drive them across some area. But the problem is we don't have any actual resources, especially then. Nor it would just be like an annoyance instead of like entertainment.
We did, for your bachelor party, have a quote unquote Top Gear style race to get to Mariners Stadium.
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
It ended in a foot race to the home plate entrance, which is kind of impressive since, the running aspect.
Well, back then I could.
Fair. But yeah, so there's like 2 where we used to live in Everett. There you could take 2 different freeways to get to Safeco Field at the time, T-Mobile Park, and so we had 2 different cars, and it was a close finish. I don't remember who won, but yeah, that was the closest thing I've experienced to a Top Gear style anything.
Yeah, I just always thought it'd be fun to like make up our own challenge and do the things, but obviously they have like
season 4 of Namely90s.
Go ahead and like get the racetrack secure and like get the permissions and do all the stuff, and like just trying to do it literally on the fly unscripted would be impossible.
Which brings us to controversies. The show's scripted.
Yeah, I think it's obnoxious that, well, first of all, like, yes, it's scripted because a lot of it's like reviews and other things. I do think there's probably some segments where it's a bit of a loose structure. Yeah. They have some leeway to do some things, and like, some of the jokes are probably written, but some of them can probably come on the fly. You kind of have to script these things to some degree. Like, I imagine with these races, they script them somewhat and like kind of set them up. But I also know that they pre-run the routes, they make sure it's going to be close. Otherwise, it would just be stupid.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, it's the people that are like, what? YouTube's not real. Like, they were essentially doing what YouTubers do now-ish, unless you're Mr. Beast.
I will say, like, the challenges that I originally saw, like, felt more real, even though they were scripted, than some of the later ones. Like, I think once they kind of started beating the dead horse, you were like, okay, I get where this is going. But they really sold it,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, obviously Jeremy Clarkson can't go into a garage by himself with a bunch of power tools and convert some sort of like classic old person car into a semi dirigible or submersible or watertight vehicle in 24 hours by himself.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously like that help.
Yeah.
But if your complaint is that it's scripted and so therefore it's not good, I'm like, then what do you
watch then? Yeah, reality TV. Yeah, welcome to reality TV. They're just, Top Gear does it better.
Yeah, that's the worst possible complaint one can have about a show like this. Like, yeah, of course it's scripted.
Well, that and the cultural mockery.
Yeah, okay.
But that was that was the time. It was, but what else? What other controversies do they have? Dismissal from Top Gear. Specific criticism. Oh, do you remember the Toyota Hilux? and how
Yeah,
that.
where they like dropped it off the building or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And then
What was the controversy there?
during the fifth episode of Series 3, Clarkson crashed a Toyota Hilux into a tree during a segment in which he attempted to prove the sturdiness and reliability of the truck. The tree belonged to the Churchill parish in Somerset. The villagers presumed that the damage had been accidental and that someone had vandalized the tree until the Top Gear episode was broadcast. After the BBC was contacted, the director of Top Gear admitted guilt and the broadcaster paid compensation. That's funny.
What a controversy.
Mm-hmm.
What else was there? Well, Hammond kept almost dying. Like the time that the jet car that he was driving flipped over and his head like dug into the ground, and he was like in a coma for 5 months or some crap.
Yeah, he was wearing a helmet too, but it was a jet.
The helmet's what stopped the car.
Yeah.
And he reported he no longer liked celery after he recovered.
Interesting. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, apparently he did have some deficits for quite some time that obviously didn't appear on the show, but he was not quite normal for quite a while after that.
Has he ever fully recovered?
I don't know that you ever do with traumatic brain injury. I think that you recover some and it's slow, but I mean, obviously he's much better now. As far as we know.
Series 18, Jeremy Clarkson was found to have breached BBC guidelines after comparing a modified Toyota Prius to the Elephant Man. Gotcha on that one. Series 16, the BBC received 600 complaints following the third episode of Series 16, in which the presenters murdered a fat Albanian and attempted to find out which of 3 car boots he would fit into best. The episode was also criticized for its stereotypical views on Albania, claiming that it is a nest for Albanian mafia car thieves. I do remember that episode. Doesn't James May die in that episode?
And everything's a Mercedes. One Mercedes.
Yeah, they get chased by.
Do you remember they did that one special for some sort of like relief event
with the Polish people, the Polish workers?
The gardening one.
Yeah, it was. They were doing the garden, or like they were doing the landscaping for like an Olympic gold medalist. Yeah, British. Yeah.
That one was funny. I loved that one. Yeah, a lot of Polish jokes, which were kind of uncool, but it was highly entertaining.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we were teenagers back then. We grew up at a different time. We stayed out until the street lights came on, and
there was a scene where he's trying to get a plant or a flower. I think it's called bougainvillea.
Oh God!
He's like, "Have you got any?" What's he say? Chlamydia. I think it's gorgonzola at one point. He's like, "Have you got any chlamydia?"
I one more episode that stands out in my mind is when they built. Was it another Fiat Panda that they turned into a space shuttle? And then launched it off.
The one they tried to launch the rocket.
Yeah.
It was a Reliant Robin, I think. Because
it was a Reliant Robin. Oh, and then I think the first time I realized that the series was scripted was the time that he kept flipping the Reliant Robin over, and all these like famous British people, which at the time I had no idea who any of these people were, kept flipping them back over. And I was like, oh, that's nice of those people.
I also liked the Winter Olympics special. I found that one to be very funny.
Where they
so many good ones.
Rocket power a car, but this time off of a ski lift or a ski jump. Good times. The limo one. Oh, the first boating one. Where they try to cross, or I guess it's the second one where they try to cross a channel in cars that they modified into watercraft.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well,
man, so how can you choose your favorite? You just can't.
Well, rip to the max. Clarkson, Hammond, and May, and their adventures together.
Yeah, well, so watch Clarkson on Clarkson's farm and whatever new pub show he's getting.
Yeah, and May on
Gin.
whatever. Yeah, and Hammond on. I don't think they renewed any of his series, but I'm sure he'll pop up with a new special.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the three of them together was special and quite entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the end of an era, that's for sure. I'll miss it.
Well, I guess we still have a Namely90s minute to do.
Yeah. Well, that being said, let's go to you for the Namely90s minute.
That's me. Welcome back to Namely90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of the release of football, we're looking back at the best 90s football movie, teen comedy drama category, Varsity Blues. Varsity Blues is a 1999 coming-of-age sports comedy drama starring Dawson's Creek, Derek Zoolander's dad, The Fast and the Furious, Beth from Road Trip, Dano from Hawaii 5-0, Clear Rivers from Final Destination, and Todd from Breaking Bad. The story revolves around the fictional small town of West Canaan, Texas, where James Vanderbeek is a book-smart backup quarterback for his high school varsity football team. While having a great life, lots of friends, and is dating Amy Smart, Vanderbeek is dissatisfied with his small-town life and wants to attend Brown since he clashes with his football-obsessed dad and dreads playing for the verbally abusive win-at-all-costs coach John Voight. Voight's philosophy goes awry when he makes the star QB, Paul Walker, take pain-killing shots into an injured knee, which injures it further during a game, costing him his scholarship to Florida State since he will need a year and a half to recover. Vanderbeek gets promoted to starting QB, which draws the interest of Allie Larder, who is Paul Walker's girlfriend but also wants to marry someone getting out of their two-horse town. So she tries to seduce James with a whipped cream bikini, but he rebukes her since he's dating Walker's younger sister already. But he also tells her that she can escape the town on her own. Disgusted with Voight's tactics and not beholden to a sports scholarship, Vanderbeek starts calling his own plays and doing his own thing. Fed up with his father, he screams the classic line, "I don't want your life," at him. When Voight discovers James has a full academic scholarship to Brown, he threatens to alter James's transcript to endanger it so that they will fall in line. When Voight's actions get more of Vanderbeek's friends hurt, he puts a stop to it before he can do any more, staging what amounts to be a mutiny during the halftime of the district championship game. The team refuses to take the field with Voight and go on to win without him, with Walker coaching from the sidelines. In the voiceover epilogue, Voight gets ousted from the town and never coaches again, while the boys all have happy endings, most going to colleges they wanted to, and Walker coaching. And that's Varsity Blues in a Namely90s minute. More or less.
And now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. So, let's see. We've honored Top Gear. This is our Out of the 90s special, but let's bring us back to the 90s with a little game that I like to call Knott's Petrol Head versus 90s Movie Buff. Ott's Petrol Head? I don't know. I'm going to show Andrew a photo of a car. So if you're watching this at youtube.com/@Namely90s, you may have a better chance of playing along. But yeah, I'm going to show Andrew a photo of a car. It's from a 90s movie. It's kind of a famous car, either in the movie or in general. And for a point, Andrew, you can either guess the make and model of the car, and if that fails, you can get a point if you know what the movie is. Which I think would be even harder for you. So I might just throw in what the movie is, depending on how I feel.
Okay.
All right. You ready for this?
Yes.
Let's start with, for example, the example car 00. It's a nice looking black vehicle with bat fins on it. This, of course, is the
Batmobile.
Yes, from Batman and Robin, which was the last 90s Batman movie, and not confusing to put Batman and Robin after Batman Forever. I'm never going to get over that. You would think Batman and Robin would be the movie where Robin's introduced, not the movie where they introduced Batgirl. Anyway, car number 1. We have a blue-looking, 60s-ish muscle car, and a background of kind of the desert.
A mesa.
Some buttes.
Well, I get this. This is a gimme because well, first of all, I know what car it is. Just I knew that anyway. It's Ford Thunderbird.
That's all you need to know.
And because you actually sent me the wrong version, it's Thelma and Louise.
Yep. Good job. I'll give you a point for that one.
Ding.
Maybe 2, depending on how charitable I am later on in the game. And you said you might know the next one too. The next one is a black looking smaller, they're not a supercar, they're a looks like a Volkswagen Beetle, honestly.
They're not a supercar, they're more of a they're a performance sports car.
Performance sport, I like that. In Grand Theft Auto Vice City, this would probably be referred to as the Comet.
I think it's a Porsche, but is it a Carrera? Oh boy.
It is from the 90s, I believe.
I'm gonna say it's a Carrera.
You can zoom in if you try.
I did, but it's not great.
I guess I should have given you a front shot.
Does it say turbo?
It might.
I think it's a 911 turbo.
Andrew, this is a Porsche 984 911 turbo.
Oh.
Do
I get that?
I think so.
Ding.
Right?
I mean, they didn't have the 984, but
can you identify? Can you identify who's in the passenger seat in that photo?
That would be. Is that Martin Lawrence
in the passenger seat?
Oh, okay. There's Martin Lawrence.
Oh, no, you're right. No, you're right. That is Martin Lawrence. I thought that was
Bad Boys.
Yep. Ding. Well done. All right. 2 for 2. Next one doesn't have anyone in it. This one's a little bit harder. This is a blue car. I would say it's a Gremlin, but it's not.
I believe it's an AMC Pacer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Do you want to shoot for the year on that one?
What year?
Or
73.
Ooh, close. That's a 76 AMC Pacer from the movie.
90s movie.
AMC Pacer.
AMC
they all
Pacer.
in the opening scene, they cram into it and they're singing Bohemian Rhapsody as they go, I think, to a donut shop. Based off of an SNL sketch.
Dumb and Dumber?
Based off an SNL sketch starring Austin Powers.
Oh, Wayne's World.
Yes, there you go. Nice
Thank
job.
you. I mean, you gave me a hint, but
a little bit, but still,
for entertainment.
You're here for the cars. I'm here for the movies. This is where we split the difference. Speaking of splitting the difference, car number 4 is a black military vehicle, looks like to me, and there's some cars flipping over in the background.
That's a Hummer H1.
That is a Hummer H1. Ding. And do you know which movie this is from? You're the man now, dog.
Is it...
I can give you a hint. That's definitely the streets of San Francisco.
Rock.
That's correct.
Ding.
Well done.
That was the Sean Connery voice. Pretty much that was it. But yeah, San Francisco.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have...
the one that's from Quebec.
Moo. Car number 5. This is a British beauty.
Aston Martin.
Yep.
DB7.
Ooh, so close.
The 8, isn't it?
Nope. This is
6?
the classic James Bond car. He had this in Goldfinger.
DBS.
It's the DB5.
Damn it.
Sorry. Ooh, you're so
angering.
Close. You got Aston Martin. Do you remember which 90s Bond film featured the DB5? I'll give you a hint. They were driving through the Swiss Alps against was it a LaFerrari or one of the red Ferraris, or was it a Lambo?
Yeah, it's Goldeneye.
Yeah, was that a Lambo or a Ferrari? Pretty sure it was a Ferrari.
I think it was a Ferrari.
Yeah,
and that had Xena on the top in it.
It was a Xena on the top. Yes.
I believe.
What a silly name. You're still killing it. Technically, you missed this one, but you knew it was Aston Martin. You knew it was close. You had the DB.
Yeah.
Maybe you knew it was GoldenEye. I think you get the point. Who knows?
Cool.
I don't even know what the win condition is. You've been killing these games lately that I don't even need to give you a win condition.
The ER one was just not even fair.
Yeah. You slayed it. Next one from 1991. The car's from the 80s and it's decked out with some time machine stuff.
It's a DeLorean.
Yes.
Ding.
Do you know
it's crazy. They couldn't have made something so high tech look so shitty.
This is when he's back. He's in the Old West.
This is Back to the Future 3.
That is correct, because that's the only Back to the Future from the 90s. Other than the cartoon series. And
I wasn't sure if 2 fell in the early 90s or not, but I know that 2 at the end of 1, they're in the floating car, which implies they're going to the future of the next one.
Yep.
So 3, they must be going back.
Good call. Also, do you know the model name for the DeLorean?
You mean the make?
Yes. Do you know the make name for the DeLorean? See, I'm not a petrol head.
Isn't it DMC?
Yes, there is a number after DMC, though.
I don't know.
It's a DMC 12. I didn't know that off the top of my head either. But it's a DeLorean. You make one model of a car. How can you have different makes? Car number 7. This is okay. I'm going to give you a warning here. This was modified to look like a different car.
You debadge it, or did they debadge it?
They debadged it because they modified it to look like a concept car from a different manufacturer that they were originally going to get it from. So I will give you points if you get either.
This looks like a Chevy Camaro.
It's a red car with a light in the front.
It looks like a 90s Chevy Camaro.
You're a little off. This is actually a modified Dodge Stealth. Yeah, that's a look of what the F is that car on Andrew's face. Modified to look like the concept Pontiac Banshee.
Interesting, because I was going to say it kind of looks like a Pontiac.
It does look like a Pontiac in the front. Do you want to take a stab at what this was from? And the clue I will give you is that red light on the hood. I'll give you the reboot alarm, and 2, the red light on the hood is an indication of this famous German singer's old television series pre-Baywatch.
Was it reboot of Knight Rider?
It is Knight Rider 2000. Ding. Yes.
That's the car they came up with. It's horrendous.
Yeah. And I want to say Val Kilmer voiced Kit at one point, but I think it was later on. All right. You still have 5 out of 7 correct. Borderline 6. This next one, it's not in the film, or it's not, the picture's not from the film, but it's a white car. Was that French badge on it?
Yeah, the problem is I don't know the model. I know it's a Peugeot, but I don't know what model.
I'll give you Peugeot if you can tell me what the movie's from. I'll give you a hint. Look closely at the picture. The model's a 406. There's one legible. There's one legible word. There's one slightly legible word somewhere on that photo.
Oh, there's a taxi sign on it.
That's correct. This is from the movie Taxi.
Oh, and it says Marseille underneath it.
Okay. Wow, that's impressive. I just can't read that.
False.
I think I need glasses. Yes. I'll give you that. You've, I don't know, missed 1.5 so far. Car 9.
Yes.
Clearly in possibly an Audi.
This is an Audi S. Audi A.
No, you had it right.
S4.
Oh, so close.
S8.
It's an S8.
Ding.
Well done. How'd you? This is in fact an Audi S8 D2 from the film Ronin.
Mighty Ducks D2. No, what?
No, Ronin has it all: gun battles, a twisting plot, and a heap of car chases. At the center of those automotive popcorn munching moments is an Audi, the first generation of the S8, a vehicle that could be classified as the ultimate movie sleeper car. I've never heard of this film or this S8, so yeah.
Yeah, big V8 engine. It's cool.
Last photo. We have a car emerging from an explosion. And I chose this one because the other one had a very visible name on it in the grill. This is definitely a 70s muscle car of some sort.
This is a Dodge.
Oh, maybe I should have given you a profile. No, you can recognize what it is.
Challenger.
This is the Dodge Challenger. That's one of my favorite older muscle cars.
I can see they kept the grill.
They did.
In the new one. This
is a 1970 Dodge Challenger 426 RT. And I don't think you'll get the movie because I've never heard of it either. And it's a remake, though. Reboot alarm.
Oh, I know this one.
Oh, do you?
It's the one where the guy is like, it's like a pursuit through the desert.
Yes, that's.
It's called.
How do you?
Vanishing Point.
Holy crap! Bravo.
You know, actually, Top Gear taught me this because in the episode where they go to the Southwest on that really long road, Hammond talks about the movie Vanishing Point.
Oh,
you know, there's a remake.
Yep.
And this is where Hammond's love of the Challenger comes from. That movie.
That makes sense because he was driving a Challenger that episode.
You like that tie-in?
Well done. I tossed the proverbial ball to you, and you knocked it out of the park with that tie-in at the end. Well, Andrew, you passed the game. Naughty's Petrolhead versus 90s movie buff. Yeah, I would say you won, and well done, especially at the end there. Clutch, if I may make a car pun there. Yeah. Any final thoughts for Namely 90s out of the 90s special?
I don't know. I'm just worried I'm going to start having nightmares. One time I dreamt I was a muffler. I woke up exhausted.
And on that bombshell, that's it for this week's
terrible
edition.
Disappointment. It's time to end.
That's it for this week's edition of Namely90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Find us on Instagram, Bluesky, and YouTube at Namely90s with 90s. And tell us what you want us to talk about in future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with 90s. And finally, you can contact us through our website, Namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Audible, Top Gear, Podcasts, CastBox, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon. That's Andrew. And we'll catch you next time.
It's rubbish.